Did you ever wonder how romantic relationships can connect you more to the divine? Well, today we have expert Junie Moon, who is an author, a love coach, and she's going to tell us so much more. And you're listening to Balance Your Life podcast, Our Evolving Consciousness. I'm Deb Peterson.
I'm Dee Valente, and
I'm Junie Moon.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, Junie. So tell us the big title that I did not remember.
Oh, what I call myself, or what
Yes,
people call me, is a spiritual love mentor.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it kind of encompasses a lot of different parts of
tell
what
us.
I bring to the table. Well, at the end of the day, I really believe love is the answer to everything. Yes, I'm a relationship love expert, helping people find love in the second half of life. And with that said, if they're not in tune with their heart, if they're not connected to what I consider the divine, things don't go so well. So I bring in the element of alignment and connection to all so that people can really create the life and the love that they desire.
That's awesome.
And do you work with couples, or obviously you're working with the individual, but when it becomes a relationship, do you work with couples?
I had in the past, but as things evolved, it really is just singles and people that are getting into relationships, and then single or people that are in relationships going, now what do I do? Now what do I do? I'm getting triggered and So typically I help people toward their next level love relationship and help them maintain it and sustain it. But the beginning part. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so you can really walk them through the whole thing.
Yeah, because there's a lot more to finding your love than just swipe. That's people say to me, help me with my profile, and I'm really good at helping people with their profile. Sure. But it's like cart before the horse. I will not help anybody with just their profile because it's just a piece of it. It's just a piece of the puzzle. Who are they? How are they being? What's their life like? Are they really in tune with what they desire most? And are they acting from that place in order to call in their greatest love?
So do you find that most people come to you because they've had enough challenges in relationships and they're like, okay, I need to do something. And then they figure out that they've got to heal themselves, right, and get aligned, which is where you're bringing them. Or do you work with people on the spiritual front who then realize that they are now ready and open to a love relationship?
That's a really great question.
That's a good question.
I think it's a yes and. With that said, most of the people that come to me have been burnt in some way. They have had heartache, heartbreak. People have died. Maybe they've never had a healthy relationship. And so they dabble, they try, they're losing their hope. And if there's anything that I think I help people with is believing in love again, believing that love is possible for them, even if their track record hasn't been so great, because the past doesn't equal the future. However, the past might be still playing out in their present time, creating their future. So when people see that they have patterns and they're afraid of putting themselves out there because they don't want to date the narcissist again. They don't want to lose their voice again. They don't want whatever it is that they had in the past happen again. They want to break that pattern so that they truly can call in that next partner that speaks to them. With that said, most people don't really know the depths of the patterns or even see the patterns. They just know they're scared. They know that they want love, but there's something blocking them. And that's my specialty, is shining a light on the blind spots. What's in the unconscious mind that's having them go, don't do it, it's gonna be bad. And then help them move forward, calling it in.
That's a big tackle.
Yeah, that is a lot. I was just thinking that she's healing them first if they need to.
Think about, when somebody's really hurt and they're really burned, they can completely shut down. People go to the other extreme and not even let people in. So you've got to first break through that wall, right, and then help them realize their part. It's a good for you. It's a big tackle.
It is a lot.
It is a big tackle, and not everybody wants to do that dance.
Yeah,
a lot of times people just are like, well, this is the way it is. It's never going to happen for me. Men suck. Women are this. And nothing really happens. And there are those that just know love is important to them, relationships important to them, and they're willing to look at some of the things that are stopping them from truly calling in that person. Why are they pushing people away? Why are they so scared? And for those people, we start with, where are you at, and is how important is this for you? Because we always want to have that North Star. Why do you want this partnership? What is it going to bring to you?
Right.
Sharing your life with someone, having somebody have your back and have fun with, and all that stuff. However, the fear is so great that it just keeps getting in their way. So the first step is for them to be aware that they want it. The second step is to be aware that there's something going on, and that's when I jump in, if they're curious, to kind of go, okay, what is this? And how can we shift it and unplug from the past, unplug from the crappy programming that they've experienced and their experiences that have them in their fear, so that they can feel empowered and strong and ready to go forward and call in something grand.
Yeah,
because it happens to many of my clients. You really
got to unblock them first.
Yeah.
You can even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys both keep saying me healing, me unblocking.
Yeah.
They're doing all the work.
You're facilitating.
Yeah,
we get that.
Because it is an individual journey. So I hold that space, that loving, solid, safe place for them to kind of go, oh, this is what's going on, and this is what's going on, with my guidance and my tools as a shadow worker.
Okay. So where do you start with someone? Someone comes in and they're unconscious of the fact that the reason they keep attracting is what needs to change inside, or they need to look at themselves. So, but they come in and they want your help. They're ready for help.
Yeah.
Right? So where do you start with that person?
Well, we start with a conversation first.
Yeah, and can I just ask, to that point, I was thinking that too, and do they know everything you're doing?
Yeah, because not everybody is ready for what I offer, and that's just
right.
Or me. They may not resonate with me and how I work. I mentioned shadow worker. So this is a body of work that I've been trained in to help people see beyond their conscious mind, to see what they've learned about themselves that they have to hide or not be like. We all have shadows of, you don't want to look too bright and bubbly because people will knock you down, or you don't want to be too vulnerable because then you're weak. Yeah. Well, when it comes to love, there and our hearts, there's a lot of risk with opening up our hearts. Well, don't go out there because you might get abused again. Don't go out there because you may lose yourself like you did many, many times before. Right. And they're not conscious of that programming. Sure. So we start with a conversation. People hop on Zoom with me and we just talk. What is it you're wanting? What are some of the things that you're noticing or your challenges? What's going on inside of you? And then I ask some questions to kind of get a sense of, can they go there? Are they ready to look at some of the stuff underneath the carpet that's been swept and like, oh, I don't want to look at,
Yeah, right.
And, I might do a couple of things when we talk to kind of see if it's a good fit. And then we start the work. Then we keep pulling back the layers. Consciously, carefully, but it's on their terms. I'm not going to whack somebody over the head with a 2x4, which is a lot of what other people do. It's like, hey, it's like, how can we be shame-free around this and realize that we're on our human journey, that we're all learning and growing, and I'm not at the top of the mountain. I just happen to have some wicked skills to help people move forward.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's very specific. They know up front. That's what I'm saying.
Some people, I do a lot of online master classes and deep dive retreats, and people know that it's not dating strategies. Yes,
right, that is a spiritual experience.
Great dating strategies.
Yeah.
And we need to do some cleaning house before you get to those strategies.
Awesome.
And a big part of it is the spiritual journey. Not everybody's going to be doing the spiritual work.
Right.
I see it as spiritual work because once we clear away the stuff that we picked up along the way, they're radiant. They're in their divine. They're aligned in a way that they didn't have before. And that's when things come to them.
Right, that's true of everything. We talk about it all the time. Being in alignment first.
Yeah. And that's just a word to most people, alignment. What does that mean? Right. Or self-love. What does that mean? I love myself. I look in the mirror. I love myself. And yet, when we make a mistake or something doesn't go well in our life, how do we talk to ourselves? You idiot. How could you be so stupid? Why? we're not so kind to ourselves. And so how are we being with ourselves? How are we loving ourselves? Because if we are not in that relationship with ourselves, how on earth are we going to receive it from somebody else in the way that we desire it?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So your clients start working with you, and obviously when they find success, they realize there's much more. This is the whole that you're working on. And do they stay with you? Do they, what is that process like?
Everybody's different, and that's why I love that I can custom create what people want. Some people stay with me for many, many months because a lifetime, decades of experiences, we need to clean that up. And some people just dive right in, do some great work, and a few months later they're noticing they're meeting really quality people.
That's awesome.
And then it's a different conversation, and then they need the dating support. I mean, I have this one client right now. She's awesome. She's so smart. She's so put together. She's been out there. She was doing, and then she came to me, what am I missing? And ultimately underneath it, we found fear of rejection. And if you were to know her story, you'd be like, why would she ever have that? She's this professional. She's so successful. Why would she be scared of rejection? But that's a human thing, right?
Past life. It could be anything.
Right, past life.
It could be so many
what if
things.
they don't like me? And what was underneath was this fear of rejection. And to look at her, knowing how successful she is, you would never think that. And yet, as human beings, we are born into survival instincts. Right. We don't want to be kicked out of the tribe. We want to make sure that we're safe. And so here's this amazing woman who's very successful in one aspect of her life, but when it comes to the heart and being vulnerable, scary.
Yeah, it's amazing because those things that can propel us to success in some areas, it's kind of a mask. But then when it comes to being vulnerable, they work against us in other areas.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's different. It's really different. And again, the vulnerability of opening up and letting somebody in, intimacy, into me see. It's like, whoa, I'm going to open up and let somebody really know what's going on, what I dream about, who I really am. And it can be really scary. And the wiring is going, don't do it. That's too scary.
Right.
And so the work that I offer is helping that part of the mind that's going, no, 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 to realize they're not going to jump off a cliff and just free fall it. That we can do it incrementally. They don't have to open up so quickly and risk that big ouch. They can go slowly. They can reveal things in their own time in a way that's honest and authentic and not necessarily too scary.
Right.
They can open when they're ready. And the right person will wait. The right person will go, there's no reason to share that just yet. That's totally okay. I honor that boundary. So I help people with how to actually have those beginning conversations. And again, how are you being before the conversations? Do you have good grounding? Do you have healthy boundaries? Are you able to speak clearly? Or are you just going to be quiet?
Junie, I have to say something. I was recently just kind of, I'm not a social media person. And
neither am I.
But it has occurred to me that social media, and maybe it's the whole world right now, maybe that's reflective of it, is really putting the blame on everyone else. So there's just like little things that, well, that's because men do this and that's because women do that. And I saw something that said when I married my husband, I didn't realize that I had to purchase the ears separately, which is hysterical.
That's great.
But there's so many things.
That's hysterical. Batteries not included.
Right.
Ears not included.
Yeah,
that's
great.
hysterical.
But there's so many things
sometimes.
right now out there that are positioning, well, that's what men do and that's what women do, or that's, in whatever the relationship it is, but it is putting the blame on someone else. It's establishing
instead of working
that
on
foundation.
yourself, right?
So I feel like there's even more work for you to do right now.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what the
Yeah.
whole
This is
world
true.
just
I think it's always been like this. It's just so much louder and in our face now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, now we're aware because it's
we're
everywhere.
way
It's
more
just
aware.
right.
Like when we were kids, we would run around the neighborhood and we weren't worried about being stolen.
Right.
But now it's like somebody was taken and, Amber Alert. And now we're more aware of it. And so it is more challenging to undo what is being told. And again, when there's the willingness to look at it and question, is that really true? As soon as we hear ourselves going, all men or every relationship, we need to hear that.
Yeah,
and say, wait a second, is that really true?
Yeah, tune that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get started on this particular path?
Yeah.
Well, I was in a 20-year marriage, and it was very dysfunctional in a lot of ways. I didn't speak my truth. I walked on eggshells. What you're seeing is not who I was. I was 200 pounds. I was scared of truly opening and revealing who I am. Fear of being left, fear of being alone, fear of conflict, you name it. And I hurt. I really, really hurt. And along the way, I found this body of work called shadow work and started doing this work that helped me see that I didn't have a food problem. That was a symptom. Not speaking up was a strategy to keep me safe and all those things. And I was able to heal.
Has someone passed away that you would like a message from? Do you want to know if they're okay or if they have anything to say to you? Then you don't want to miss this. We have celebrity evidential medium Anthony Maraca, Thursday, June 5th at the Unitarian in Morristown. Tickets are on sale now, so don't miss him. He always sells out, so get your tickets soon.
I was able to really shift how I was being to, I have every right to speak up. I have every right to get my needs met. I can do it in a healthy, authentic way. I can be me. I can reveal myself, and I'm safe. And I do walk a pretty strong spiritual walk. So with my spiritual path and this personal growth work model, I was able to truly come home to my heart and not be so scared. It's not like I don't have fear. I still have fear. I just know how to dance with it. It doesn't cut me off at the knees. It's not like I don't have an inner critic anymore saying, what were you thinking? But I can go, whoa, chill out, step away,
That's great.
Or it's just such a low volume. That was my journey. And so the marriage didn't last, even though we have lots of love still, and we're still friends in different ways. I left that marriage and discovered what I call next level love. My next relationship was so beautiful, so powerful. It didn't last for lots of different reasons. He's actually no longer on the planet, and it's a really long story. But it showed me what was possible. And because I was different, I was able to allow in a very different person. And I never forgot it. So because I saw my journey of pain and my transformation, I knew that healing was possible. And that led me to the work that I do now. It's why I wrote my book. It's why I did my film.
Right.
It's like all of those things was, people need to know this.
You were walking the talk.
Yes.
You really were. I met you actually right when you started doing the shadow work. Like, I don't know, 18, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
early
it's just
on.
like, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. I actually did some of that shadow work with you.
That
I
is
remember.
so true. I can see you in my room right now. I'm like, yes, I forgot.
And it's so funny because I wasn't even thinking about it that you were coming today, but for some reason that popped in my head the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool stuff. So you've been doing this a long time.
I have.
Yeah.
And, when my son moved out at 16, and I was like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Do I want to reinvigorate my acupuncture practice? Because I was a
remember you were
licensed,
doing
well, I
that.
still
Yes.
am, but I don't practice really anymore. What do I want to do if I'm starting over? And my heart was, I want to help other people experience what I have experienced and what I've learned. And it's not just about relationships.
Right.
It is about love, and it's about self-love.
Self-love.
And
Right.
that's
Self-love's
everything.
And
Every
you
aspect of our
you
life.
You can't help other people until you're there. You have to take care of thyself. You have to love thyself before you can go and take care of other people, and that's exactly what you did. Is that what gave birth to the book?
So what gave birth to the book was I did a short film called Shed the Shame, and I literally got naked and body painted by a well-known body painter and talked about body image and body shame and my journey around that. And
That's
it was
brave.
a metaphor for how the programming, all the messages we get shape how we feel about ourselves. So in our culture, we know that is a big deal with women and bodies, but men too.
Yes.
And so that took off. It went to film festivals. It was a really special thing. It's actually the thing I'm most proud of, actually.
Awesome.
For you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And then what I realized, because I didn't know anything about marketing, I didn't know anything about taking people to the next place. It was just like, here's this amazing experience for you to witness, and people going, oh my God. And then I'm like, well, how do they do it? And so that's where the book came from.
Beautiful.
Let me help people with the how to really love yourself, how to reprogram yourself. And that's where the book came from,
And
which
say
was
the
like
name
a
of the
handbook to what I did.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's great. What's the name of the book?
It's called Loving the Whole Package.
Yeah.
Shed the
Nice.
shame and live life out loud.
And Loving the Whole Package can be found on
It can be found on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a link on my website too, which is midlifeloveoutloud.com.
Yeah, we'll have that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
So-
on Amazon.
That's
And
awesome.
Loving the Whole Package is really, truly a journey to loving yourself, all aspects of yourself. And I literally give tools on how to have healthy boundaries, how to speak your truth, how to be vulnerable but not unsafe, things like that.
You know, that's so important to have, because sometimes you're in something and you don't realize it, and when you can just
A lot
you
of
can
times.
just
Yeah,
your own
I mean, right?
personality.
That's
You're going down a path
yeah.
you shouldn't, and if you were thinking clearly, you wouldn't. But just having something that you can refer to is
Yeah.
an eye opener, and it's just an adjustment.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it is.
And there's one thing I want to share, because we were talking about how hard it can be and
Yeah.
all the years of experiencing this. A lot of times people think, oh my God, this is going to be so painful looking at this stuff. And what I say to people is it's so much more painful to not look at this stuff and be in control from this stuff versus really looking at it. It's like the monster under the bed. Turn the lights on and you go, oh, it's not so scary. It's just a little dirty under there. And once
That's a good
people
point.
do
Yeah.
this work, people suddenly have so much energy. They feel so much freer, and they're just happier. And it affects every aspect of their life.
Right, so their lives improve altogether. Sure, because again, once you're in alignment,
Absolutely.
which sounds so simple, but
Right.
you know, I mean, we're big Abraham fans.
Oh yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, get in alignment first, then do everything else, and it's
Yeah.
just so much easier.
And we
that
can
way.
think that. It's like, I need
Yes.
to be in alignment. I need to be in alignment. I need to do my vision board. We need to do all these things. But at the end of the day, we are missing a big part of this alignment part.
Yeah.
It's not just how we're thinking, but how are we being?
Yeah,
How are we
sure.
feeling? And when we can bring the
feeling is-
feeling with the intention, then you have
Yeah.
magic, in my opinion.
Yes, we agree, right? We're like,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
So you are doing retreats now.
I do some retreats. Mostly I'm doing online. I have a 1-year program called Midlife Love Unleashed, which
nice.
is an intimate group with women that are really doing the inner work to release and heal and claim what they want in love and life. I do sometimes do in-person retreats, and right now I'm creating my
Yes.
own talk show.
Fantastic.
And what's the subject going to be?
Well, it's called Your Best Life with Junie
love
Moon.
it. Okay.
And kind of think a combination of Oprah meets the dating game.
I love it.
So it's going to be the classic studio audience, warm up the audience. I'll come out
Great.
and talk to the audience, interact with the audience about love and relationship. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's
Have-
what's most important.
I'm
have
looking for
fun.
the fun and the impact.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Because all the marketing stuff, it's like, ugh, get me in
We
front
know.
of people. Let me feel the energy and let
Yes,
me help
yeah.
more people and reach more
Yes,
people.
that's
So
great.
there'll be a component where I'm talking to the audience and interacting. Then I'm going to have some really awesome guests that will enhance and support the love journey, maybe relationship, people in relationship. What does it take to have healthy relationships? I mean, I'm not sure exactly who my guests will
Sure.
be just
Okay,
yet.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
launching
It's
this
going to
summer.
unfold.
That's
That's
awesome.
great. And
And
where's
then we're going to do the dating game, my version of the dating
I love
game.
this. This
Just
is
like
fun.
the old-fashioned
In the 70s,
dating game.
yes.
Yep,
Was that the 70s? Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
right?
And it's going to
Oh
be
my
my
gosh.
version in the sense that what are the real questions we really want to know?
Ooh.
Not
Oh,
just
boy.
what's the funniest place you had whoopee. You know, we'll have some fun, of course. And I really want to engage with them as well as the audience about this is what it takes.
I love
These
it.
are the things we need to know before we go, yes, forever.
No, that's good. So you're gonna ask some real questions.
Yeah, it's going to be
and then-
real talk,
and you're gonna
real
do
life.
things like
yeah.
set up like how the dating game used to have with the 3 people.
I think
that
so.
I
I think so.
love it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
And men and women,
Yep.
obviously, like
Yep.
as the person to be matched. And
Yeah, it's going to be all that. They're going to have to apply. I'm going to interview people because
Wow.
ultimately I want to have potential matches.
You want to have success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, if somebody doesn't want children and someone wants children, that's not going to be a match. So I'm going to make sure that I have the right people, the best people for each other, and then let the universe
The
take
whole
it.
experience, the whole process is going to be fun.
Yeah,
I'm
the
so
whole
excited.
thing sounds so
it's,
fun.
it's all coming together as we speak.
Love it.
I'm
Great.
creating the space as we speak. I mean,
so
it's
happy.
It's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Lots
for the
of fun.
next time
And where-
that we have her on the podcast, we're going to talk about all the things
Okay,
that
all
happens
the-
along
yeah.
the way for this.
Oh, that's gonna be a lot,
When
yeah.
you're doing it, it'll be just some crazy fun stories.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say it right here because I
Go
believe
for it.
in putting it out there.
Yes.
I want Stephen Colbert and his wife to be the first guests.
Oh.
It's going to be in Montclair. That's where
Okay.
it's going to be housed.
Nice.
And there's going to be a partial fundraising aspect to it.
Okay.
And so they're really great when it comes to the community and things like that. So whether they say yes or no, we shall see. But there's nothing like putting it out there to the
That's
universe. And I have to tell you, it's already kind of happening where people go, oh, I know him. I know her.
Okay.
So who knows? All I know is that I want quality people on that stage to lift everybody up with what is possible in love and relationships.
So they'll talk about their what do you
I
see
want
them
to talk
doing?
to them about their relationship. They've been
Oh.
together a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the things? What are the things that keep them together? How do they navigate conflict?
People do want to know that. It's
right?
so
Behind the
interesting.
scenes.
Last year, I remember going out for our anniversary with my husband. It'll be 30 years in 2 weeks. But so it was, and I remember like telling couples, every waiter, everywhere we went, everybody was like, "Really? How did you do that?" And it was so interesting that all these people, they want to know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
I mean,
I was like, why is everyone asking that? But
because
they want to
success
know.
leaves clues and how people do relationship and last.
Right.
What are you doing? What are you doing? How has this
but like a lot of young
unfolded?
people, it was interesting. Yeah. So I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Because it's a rarity now.
I guess it
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
Well, in our culture we're very quick to go, yeah, I'm out of town.
I'm
I'm out of here.
I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So what do you see when with a healthy relationship, whether it's it's been established for a very long time or it's new? What are the traits in a healthy relationship that you see?
Oh yeah, you
that
could give
make
some
it-
tips
yeah,
to
that
our
make it a healthy
audience. That would be
relationship.
great.
Well, if people are just starting out, I think it's really, really important to have your values in alignment. Finances, how you view your future, your family, health and wellness. I mean, spirituality. If you're completely different, then you have to really 100% fully accept that person's going to be like that, or you're going to have some big challenges. So compatibility on the big issues, I think, is really important.
Okay.
And then if you want to get really granular, it's can you love each other and hold a space for each other when you have a difference of opinion? Can you keep that openness and come from your heart even when you're in conflict? Because at the end of the day, conflict can actually bring you together. It doesn't have to break you apart if you know how to do it well. So
If you know how to be in conflict well.
it's true. It's true. I mean, my partner and I, we have conflicts
I tell you
sometimes.
what to do. Right, exactly.
Right? I mean, if you're like yelling
That
and
works for
screaming,
me. I
it's
mean,
not
yeah.
it's not
No,
going to
no,
go
no,
well.
right.
You rah, 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 rah,
Sure.
Can you take responsibility for your side of the street?
Right.
I mean, I'm
Can
not
you
scared
apologize?
ever. Right.
That's hard to love.
Yeah, to apologize,
Right.
to be willing to understand your person, to come from love, even if you're angry. It's like, okay, I love this person. I'm really angry at this person, but I love this person.
Right.
Let me hear them out and not think of what I'm going to be thinking about, what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime there's something that comes up for me, I look at my side of the street first. And I'm not afraid to talk to my partner because I know he's going to do the very same thing. It's
good.
not volatile.
That's very good.
It can be uncomfortable sometimes,
Of
but it's not
course,
volatile
right.
because I know he loves me. He knows I love him. We work through it together.
Right. And I think also, I don't know if you throw this in as one of your things, but it's like the acceptance of even if it's not the way you would do it, it's the
how do you do it together
Yeah.
with acceptance without giving away anything that's important to you? How can you truly, like, it's sort of like Mel Robbins right now, the let them, let me, that's the big thing right now. It's like to be able to let people be who they are without trying to fix them, without trying to change them, without
tough.
hoping
really
that
tough.
the future is going to be different. I always say, don't date a potential. What you see is what you get, and it might change. So can you fully accept this? Because if you can't, you're going to have drama. You're going to have pain. And that's no fun.
You know, it's where you started when you were first leaving your relationship, right? You said that you were not yourself. You were hidden. And by the way, I was there, so I get it.
Many of us,
right. But it's being who you are and being with someone who you're allowing to be themselves, and vice versa, and so you're stronger together, and that's really what you're bringing to people. It's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
And
with
such
the
good work.
Thank you. And with the world being the way it is, and the world is always messy, but things have really
amped up a
escalated.
bit.
That we need more love and understanding.
Absolutely.
And we need to clean our own houses before we start pointing fingers about how everybody else should be different.
Yes.
It's funny, I was just going to ask you if you had any tips or, for the audience, and then that's like a perfect thing.
Yeah, breathe.
You just said that.
Friggin' breathe. And,
yes.
and how are you being? Because if you're in your anger and you're bringing that out into the world, we're bringing more anger out into the world.
just
love is what we need. We need more love and understanding.
Yeah, we do.
We need compassion, and we're moving into that place. But, the conflict, I think, brings out, as we said earlier, those things. And people are changing because of that. People are becoming more compassionate. And there's a forum now for someone like yourself to get that message out there.
Yeah.
And people are ready to hear it.
It's true.
Who am I? And how do I, be whole and successful and allow people to be who they are? And it's compassion and love.
And that's one of the things I truly believe is happening because of this extreme adversity.
Yes,
there's something else that's birthing.
I agree.
And that's the path
we talk
that
about that a lot.
hang my hat on.
That people are becoming more aware.
Because I don't know who you voted for. I don't know who you voted for. I don't know what you're thinking. And truly,
to be honest,
here we are as people wanting to do good work and have a good life.
Right.
And maybe we have differences of opinion, but am I going to it's like, how can we be together in this? And that's hopefully what's happening is people will come together more and more as communities and connections and love. Yeah.
Well, we on our evolving consciousness, look at human consciousness as a place of compassion where we're past that. And to get there, for all change to happen, great change to come, revolution must happen, right?
Yes.
And that's happening spiritually, and it's an awakening, and I believe that people are going to find compassion because we have no choice to.
I was just going to say, because we have to.
We're being brought to our knees in a lot of different ways.
It's going to be a long 2025.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll get through it.
We will get through it, and I do believe it's going to be better. It just might be messy.
We do
for
too.
a while.
Right. And a lot of our intuitives that we talk to, everybody's kind of on the same page with that.
It's like cleaning your closet. When you clean your closet, your room looks so messy. You never think you'll ever have a clean closet.
Right.
So we're cleaning some things up in a lot of different ways, and we shall see. But let's do it with love as much as we can.
Yes. Thanks, Junie. We're
so
happy to have you on.
My pleasure.
Wonderful work.
Excited for you for what you're doing. I can't wait to see the show.
And we'll have you back.
Let us know when it's ready to go, of course, that we will put it out to our audience.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. This was so great. You guys are great.
Thank you. You too. And we'll see you next time.